Hello there, kids. We're going to take a look at a classic test question structure that involves electron emission and absorption of energy with the view of those quantum energy level changes or the quantum leaps. So many high school and college tests and textbooks will craft questions with this basic structure. They'll give you, 4 or 5 energy level changes as multiple choice answers and say which of the following would be associated with either the most or the least absorption or emission of electromagnetic energy. So in a sense, if I had this otherwise written the same in this structure, you could generate 4 kind of questions with this: most absorption, least absorption, most emission, least emission. Regardless, the pattern is based on the fundamental idea of how energy is exchanged at the electron level in the electron cloud if we're looking at your basic Bohr model illustration of this. So here's that emission spectrum of hydrogen again, just as an example, but it doesn't have to address visible light. If it's electromagnetic energy and there's quantum leaps, you've got a question. So here, let's say that we're going to pick, say, the most emission. So we're going to let that be the question. So we can now break this down this way. First of all, is it an emission or absorption? Well, if it's an emission, that means our energy levels are going down. That means that the possibilities really are addressing answers C and D. It's not absorption, that would be energy levels going up, so we've already narrowed it down. Now, is it the most absorption or the least? The most emission or the least? The more energy that was emitted, the more energy levels that were changed. The more energy levels went down. Here we have 2 energy levels dropped. Here we have 4, so the answer is D. Now, on the other hand, if I stuck with emission and I wanted to make it the least emission of energy, well, then that would be answer C, because as we've been learning, the less energy that has been absorbed or emitted, the less energy levels you change. On the other hand, let's say that we want to wrap our questions around the idea of absorbing energy. Well, that would be answers A and B, because the energy levels are going up. If we have the least amount of energy that was absorbed by the electron, it would be A. If we had more of the energy absorbed and it was enough to get that second quantum leap, well, that would be B, because that was 2 energy levels that went up. So this type of question drives home the same pattern we've been talking about. More energy levels going up or down have to do with shorter wavelengths, higher frequencies, higher energies. Less energy levels that are changed means longer wavelengths, smaller frequencies, lower energies. There's absolutely no reason that we couldn't reword this question as which of these would be associated with, say, a longer wavelength absorption. That would mean less energy, and that would be this. If we said a shorter wavelength absorption, that meant higher frequency and higher energy. You can rewrite this type of a question whether we're observing it in terms of just absorption or emission of energy, absorption or emission of a frequency, or absorption or emission of a wavelength. So really, you could generate multiple questions out of the same idea. Once again, that idea being the greater the quantum leaps, the shorter the wavelength. Notice how violet is shorter than red. The more that jumps back and forth, that means the higher the frequency. We know that because light wavelengths and frequencies are inversely proportional. We also know that greater energy level jumps are associated with greater exchange of energies, and we know that because more energy, higher frequencies against Planck's constant. So we can really even spin more ideas. We could find ways of plugging in these equations if we want to be really mean and naughty, like I'm going to be with y'all the next time we have a big quiz on this. No, but anyway, I'm going to let you off light. The main thing is that I want you definitely though is to understand the idea of absorbing and emitting energies. Absorbing, energy levels go up, emitting energy levels go down, and that the more energy levels exchange, the higher energy and frequencies and shorter wavelengths are involved.